Going live. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining Living Life today. This is Kendra, and I have with me our special guest, Brandi. Hi, Brandi.
Hello, everybody. How are
Yes.
you
So
doing?
I am good. How are you, Brandi?
I am good. I will not complain at all.
Good, good. Well, I thank you for joining us. I know you have had a lot to go on. I'm not gonna talk. I'm gonna let you talk more about that. But I really admire you. I really admire you for your strength. I really admire you for how you give to others. Like regardless of what you're going through, it's like you just keep pushing. So I admire you for that, girl. Thank you so much for joining again because you have such a powerful testimony and a powerful life itself. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. That's so sweet.
Yes,
Thank you.
you do. You really do. So I know your parents. Your dad was a bishop at one time, and now your dad's the pastor. Your brother's the pastor, and you guys are just a loving family. I admire you all. I always have. I always admire the bond that you all have. And I know that recently you all have had a lot of events to go on and transpire in your life. So
Wow.
I am going to let you talk based on where you feel comfortable with starting. Of course, this live is entitled Grieving During a Pandemic.
Mhm.
So you can go ahead and however you feel led to do so, speak.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for the opportunity. I am really honored that you even reached out and even thought enough to even ask me to speak on such a topic. People normally know me as very upbeat and happy and positive, but this year has not been that at all times. But as they say, God is still good. So,
Amen.
yeah, 2020 has been a major crazy year for us. Our grieving during this pandemic, first of all, started with my mom losing her brother in Chicago to corona. And
Mhm.
so that was very hard. It was hard because at that time everything was shut down and we couldn't even go.
Oh,
And in Chicago, at that time, they weren't even having funerals. So my aunt and my cousins, they didn't even get to see their dad. They didn't get to see their dad. Now he did work with the fire department up there for like 30 years. So they did do like a parade for him with his casket and everything. But all they could do was do that and go to the graveyard. And so that was like a very, very hard time for my mom. That was her oldest brother. And she couldn't go see him. So that was very hard. Then um about like 6 weeks later, my dad lost his big sister, my aunt Betty, in
mm.
Cincinnati. And luckily he had just went like maybe 2 weeks before and he had stayed with her at the hospital and he had got to spend some time with her. Then right after that, Corona just went like crazy. So we didn't get to go to my aunt's funeral in
Mm.
Cincinnati. So my daddy actually had to speak at her funeral over the phone.
Wow.
And yeah, and it was just two of them left. Like my grandmother is gone, my uncle Jay is gone. It was my daddy. I mean, it's my Aunt Betty and my daddy. So that's his last living sibling. He has a lot of nieces and nephews in Cincinnati, but that was his last sibling, and he didn't get to go in person and tell her bye. They did call and take the phone to the casket, and we got to watch the service over the television. But that's still not the normal way. It's not the same because like when my uncles and my aunts and my grandmother passed, we all would get in the car, go to Cincinnati. You go to each other's house, you eat, you have a repast, and you didn't think nothing about masks and all this type of stuff. People would bring food, drop food off, send edible arrangements. But this time it was totally different. So my cousins like really had to grieve totally different. Daddy had to grieve totally different in losing his sister. And then May, ah, my brother. So
Mm.
um yeah, it was just kind of it's been a lot.
Right,
Um
right.
I said I was not gonna do this.
And it's okay. I wish I could be there to give you a virtual hug because I know you have been through so much, and I know your family was so close. And I think I remember even a time where your mom would just still, even when you all were adults, have it where you all would just take a family trip with just her children. Is that right?
Yes, we would always take a family trip. We left all the in-laws and the outlaws out.
So it's like even as you guys grew older, so many times as siblings grow older, they grow apart. But as you all grew older, you all still had that bond, y'all still had that love. And you have some pictures of your brother, correct? That you want to
Um,
share with us?
yeah, one of his friends made this for the service. That is, I don't know if you can see. It just shows
I
him in all
can.
walks of his life. As a kid, as a sergeant in the military, as a brother, as a father, as a grandfather, as a friend, as a cousin. We have like a little bit of everybody on that. And so this was hard for us because we never lost anyone close. Far as living in town like this, like my Uncle Paul passed. That was hard, but Billy's was so unexpectedly. It's like one day he called my sister Ingrid and told her to cash app him, and then like 2 days later he was gone. So it
Mm.
was different. And then like I have friends that would drop food off in the yard because daddy's 81, mama's 77, was 76, and so they couldn't come in and embrace us like they wanted to. And people would leave food on the porch, or they would call and we were like, we want to pay dinner for you all tonight. We want to come, but we can't come. So it was different. We did have some people that said, we don't care, we coming. And so that was good to have family and friends that was like, look, hey, we're gonna get corona together. And so they came and they grieved and they mourned with us. But we had so many people that poured financially and calls and texts. And Billy was just really one of a kind. He was my protective brother. Like, somebody messed me, I would kick his butt. He's more
And
my brother that would he's more my brother that would be the one to tell me I'm beautiful, or you're gonna be baby Oprah, or you doing it like that, girl. So he's missed. We always didn't get along, but as we got older, I learned to understand him because he was different. He thought different, he talked different, but he lived his life to the fullest. He was what made us happy wasn't what made him happy. So we had to learn to love him for him. And so it's just been a really, really hard transition. I tell everybody it's a new normal with a void.
Mm.
Just popping up to wash clothes, or just popping up and Brandy, put me some chicken in the air fryer, or sis, give me one of them teas, them detox teas, let me use the bathroom. he would
Right.
always he would always do that. So and it was just crazy. My brother Billy, he never was the type that would go out, but my sister Inger had her 50th birthday party. And that night afterwards, we were all going to go. My son was trying to get us to go somewhere, girl. My son out Jay. And Billy was like, man, I'm not going, honey. I'm too old. I don't go out. And so we had left. And then they said, I know my phone rang, and he was like, where y'all at, sis? I'ma come. And so that was in February. So we hung out. We had so much fun. That's when I took the videos and we took pictures. And then him and my son actually went out after everybody went home. And that was
Oh.
his first time hanging out with his Uncle Billy. And so those are memories that will hold dear to us. Songs that play Old Time, was it Old Time Road or whatever?
Old Town
Um,
Road, yes.
okay, yeah. That's one of the songs Billy was dancing on it. He was doing this. And so every time I hear that now, it makes me think of him. And yeah, we just miss our brothers. So grieving during
And yes.
pandemic is different.
It is. And I think you all did a wonderful job at your brother's services. I was able to watch it online, for the people who couldn't make it there in person. There was the option I watch it online. And just some of the things you all said, even with what your sister said, the song she sang, Ingrid, I will bless the Lord, that just has been with me ever since then,
Mhm.
again, that is a lot that you've been through with having loss after loss. It's actually referred to as bereavement overload, which is when a person experiences a lot of losses back to back before they can kind of regroup and get themselves together, process their thoughts, even fully grieve the passing of the loved one. So that, that is hard. And like I said, for you to still be a giver, because I know even afterwards, after your brother passed, you still was giving, girl. You still was like just pressing forward. You and your mom were doing encouraging things, trying to encourage others. So I again, I cannot say enough how much I really, really value your family and really appreciate you all. And I just want you to know that I think you're doing great, considering everything that you've been through. And it's okay, to acknowledge how you feel like you're doing. And I thank you for, again, letting other people know, just being transparent, being honest. I know you have a huge support system. Like you were saying, people will drop stuff off on the porch. And even with your parents, how you and your parents are very close, and all of your siblings, all of you are close. Even like you were saying, how your mother was your protector. So what advice would you have for someone who's like grieving during a pandemic right now? Because you've been through it. It's one thing for one person to say something that hasn't been through it, but when someone has actually been through where you are, it sometimes touches something within your spirit, something in your soul. So what is some advice that you would have for someone who is grieving currently?
Well,
Like,
one
would you
thing
say
I would definitely say, don't fight the grieving. Like, when you feel sad, you feel sad. It's okay. Um, I know sometimes me and my boyfriend will be out eating and I'll just start crying. But he understands because he lost a brother last year in October. So
Mm.
he lost his baby brother. I lost my big brother. So, and he would tell me like, man, you're gonna have those moments. And sometimes we talk about them and we laugh and we cry. Sometimes we just cry. So I would tell people to most definitely go with the grieving. Stop for a moment and accept it's going to be a void because like when it first happened and the day of the funeral and the day after the funeral, the calls, the texts, the cards were still coming. And then I remember maybe like a day or so later, it just went like silent. And
Mm.
so I would tell people, like when you're handling business, not saying that the calls and things aren't important at that time, but at that time when you're trying to make preparations on what are you going to do, how are you going to lay your loved one to rest, sometimes we would take my parents, we actually took my parents' phone for days and they didn't have their phones at all. We would take it. Sometimes we answered, sometimes we didn't. But afterwards, I know my mom would say, it was hard. She was like, I was okay as long as everybody was around and calling. But when it got silent, that's when it got real. So I would tell people, as time passed, still check on people to see how they're doing because it was like and Billy's friend, my childhood friend from third grade, came to the funeral. I had no clue that Beverly was going to be there, and she waited to the very end. And then 3 weeks later, her husband killed her, and so
Wow.
he killed her and him. And
Oh.
so I just wanted to be there for them because I know how that sudden shock takes away.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I got the call, the guy from Channel 2 News, he called me on accident. Some kind of way Billy number was tied to my name. And they asked me, do you have any information? Do you have anything you want to say about the incident last night? And I said, what incident? What are you talking about? And they said, are you kin to William Johnson Jr.? I said, yes. What are you talking about? And he's like, you haven't heard anything? I said, what are you talking about? He's like, you just need to call the police. I said, are you trying to tell me my brother is dead? What are you telling me? And I remember I was trying to go down the steps and my legs was just like noodles. And
Mm-hmm.
I just lost all strength because I thought I'm gonna have to go tell my parents that something happened with Billy. But by the time I got down and I hit the corner, my brother Greg was here with my parents already. And so they had already knew. So then I was able to have my moment. But when people lose loved ones, reach out to them, be there. Now we understand how when somebody died. No, everybody knows to have life insurance. For whatever reason, some people can't afford it. Some people just don't do it. But if you can help that family because they are dealing with something, especially if it's spontaneous. they are dealing with something that will forever change their life.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing you want people to have to do is worry about money. So when
Right.
that just went, I was like, I got my classmates together, and I think we raised like $2,500 in a matter of days, just to
Wow.
bless my mom with, because everything happened at her mom's house, so they just go to the hotel, and that's nothing, somebody charging or so. So at that time, it wasn't about me, it wasn't about Billy, it wasn't about. It's like I know how this family feels, and
Mm.
it's hard. And she had 4 boys. And so we actually ended up doing like her whole program because it was just, yeah, it's just something that you don't prepare for unless, like, my parents, they're seasoned, they're 81, so they know, like, hey, we're not going to be here another 40, 50 years. So we're better prepared as far as the planning, and they have handled everything for us. But when you lose young people unexpectedly, you
That,
you need
that's
people to you need support. You need people to rally around you. And it's those calls and those texts that come a month or 2 months or 2 weeks or 3 months later, just like, hey, I'm just checking on you. If you need anything, let me know. And
mm,
so that's what I would most definitely tell people. Be there for people. Don't talk about they doing a go meet fun. It ain't about that at that time. They're trying
it's
to
not.
say goodbye to their loved one that they're never going to see again. They're never going to hear their voice. They're never
That is.
going to celebrate another birthday, another holiday, accomplishment. It all
Mm-hmm.
stops. It all stops there.
It
So
does. It
that's what I
does.
would.
That yeah, that is true. And like you said, life insurance is huge. A lot of time people feel like they can't afford it, but it is important. And we had Reverend McGrigg on a few weeks ago. She is a hospice chaplain, and she was saying kind of the same thing you were saying. Like we don't need to be judgmental of people when they have a loved one that has transitioned past. That's not the time to
Mhm.
be judgmental. That is the
Right.
time to be supportive of the individual.
Mhm.
And she was even saying how if you feel like you have a friend that you're close with, like for the person that's grieving, have an accountability partner. Say, hey, I'm not feeling well. I'm not feeling myself. I don't feel like I can, regain where I was or, even close to where I was. So I need you to check on me because I feel like I'm in a state of depression right now. And a lot of times people don't seek help, when they feel like they're really depressed or they can't move forward. And that's it's okay. It's nothing wrong with that for those who are. But as you stated, like you feel like this is the new norm, and I like the way you worded that. This is the new norm with a void because you don't
Mhm.
have the same people in your life that you had. Even as you were mentioning about your father, how he was not able to be there in person, and your mom was not
Mhm.
able to be there in person. A lot of people don't look at that during this pandemic. Like that changes even the grief inside of it. Like you can't
Mhm.
officially have a funeral for some people. In our culture especially, that's something that that's our last way of saying we love you, we are
Mhm.
here, you've always been there,
Mhm.
I'm here for you. And like you said, it's a time when people rally around, they are supported, they bring food, they bring money, they bring joy, they bring peace, they bring so
Mhm.
many things. But not to have that, that is definitely something that during the pandemic a lot of people are lacking. So and even as you said, being able to still check on that individual, that are grieving and you have a loved one
Mhm.
pass. Because the grief doesn't stop after the funeral. It
No.
continues and it comes in stages sometimes, like you mentioned. So
I think
definitely
that's when I think that's when it really starts. Because like
because
like
at
I said,
first, like
at first there's so much business going on, like you really don't process it. But once it's over, I think that's when it really, really, really gets real.
That is so true. You're right. You're right. And I've experienced a lot of losses in my life, but not the back to back bereavement overload. But I can only imagine. So I'm here for you and your family. I love you all. I'm here for you all, and I truly mean that. So on a positive note, I know you have a lot of things you were doing before the pandemic, like you were doing a GOYB. You had what is it called? Not a love
Open
letter.
letter. No love letter. A open letter. I
And
might need to write a love letter. A open letter.
open letter, and I love the open letter that I saw. So maybe if you could share some information with people about that. And I know you were an event planner, like you did events as far as like hosting events. So it's a little about that. I want to say my favorite open letter that you did though was the one where you were talking about how you could not get on the roller coaster. And then you decided you wanted to do something about it. And I was like, I so love your open letters. Like they're really authentic. They're really good.
Girl, I was 299 pounds.
Wow.
And I will never forget, we was at Kentucky Kingdom. And we got up to the line to get on the ride. And I was with my kid's father, and he was skinny, and they tried to bring an extension. It was a stand-up roller coaster. And they tried to bring the extension, but they was like, I don't know if this is gonna be secure. They was like, man, we're sorry. You can't we can't let you ride because it's a health risk, or I guess pop it open. I don't know what they thought I was gonna be. What's the little fat apple or something now though? But honey, in front of all those people, after I had waited all that time in front of all those people, I had to get off of that roller coaster. And after that, I was like, no. I'm like, and then I remember my son, he said, he was little. He was saying, my friends was calling you fat, and he was crying. And that like really, really hurt. So I really went through a lot of insecurity issues during that time. And I just wanted to do different. So I had weight loss surgery. Back then, all they had was the gastric bypass. I had the gastric bypass. I lost over 100-something pounds. And
wow.
and I've kept it off. So, and that was like maybe 2002, 4. I can't remember. Girl, it was a lot of time ago. But I don't play. When I get full, I stop. Because ain't nobody else put me off another ride again. How about that?
So is that kind of what led you to do the open letters?
No, you know what actually led me to do open letters was crazy. I was led to do it the year before. But what actually led me to do the open letters was my son and I, we had went astray for about 5 years. We had a big disagreement. I'm very transparent at the time about his lifestyle. And I wasn't going for it. And then I had to realize it was so crazy. The day I did his letter was the day that Kobe Bryant and his daughter died. So I was a hot mess. So I already had production ready to come and record and do the video. And then right before we got ready to do the video, all this stuff breaks the news. And I was just thankful to God that nothing happened during that time. I didn't pass, he didn't pass, because, the main thing about your kids, you just want them to be happy. And we as parents, we don't always do everything right either. So a lot of stuff he went through, I went through. And I didn't want anybody to tell me nothing. And so I could have been more supportive at the time. So now the Lord has brought us back together after the open letter. I think it healed some wounds. And sometimes now when this Corona first started, honey, he'd be calling me, just talking to me. I'd be looking like, boy, I try to work. So that's what started the open letters. My son, Maurice Jennings Jr., your mama loves you. That's what all started open letters was Maurice.
Awesome. So what I want to do, if you don't mind, I want to put your information in. So after COVID is over, if people want to book you, they can go to your website or your page and book you. What is your information for people to search you up and book you for an event like after COVID is over?
Yeah, after COVID, I'm probably gonna host for food. Not even no money, food, just eat. No, honey, I'm working for food after this. So, but no, I love to MC and host events. I love it. It's my passion. It's my dream. But I'm a person. I like to do a lot of things, but I truly, truly do love hosting. I miss being on the radio. I was on 760 for 2 years, so I do miss those things. But my stage name is Miss Brandi J. That is capital MZ. Brandi with an IJ. And
okay.
you can email me at bookmissbrandyj@gmail. And honey, I do contracts, and you do have to put out a deposit. But sometimes if it's for a good cause, I work with you. I will work with you, and I do volunteer sometimes because it truly is a blessing. And sometimes people can't afford a host when they're trying to do something new. So I don't.
Right.
Sometimes I don't have a problem. Now, I don't want nobody just taking advantage of the situation, but
Exactly.
trust me, if I come and host, you're gonna have a good time. I'm gonna have a good time, and your guests are gonna have a good time.
Yes, I've seen some of the events you've hosted, and I was like, you all have a blast at your events. So just to make sure I have that right, I have BOOKMZBRANDI@gmail.com if someone wants to book, correct?
You better go, girl. You got it.
So Brandi, again, let me put this in here. Thank you again for joining us. Again, you and your family are continuously in my prayers, and I am only one text away, as you know. So feel free to always, anytime I can be assistance or you just need a listening ear, reach out to me. And for those who are watching, thank you for joining us. Again, Brandi said her testimony, some things she's been through. And I know a lot of people during this pandemic are grieving different things. As I stated earlier, Reverend McGregor and myself, we had a live a few weeks ago and we discussed a little on that. So if you want to go back and take a look at that, please do. But the key takeaways is that, like Brandi said, she's going to keep going. She's going to continue to do what she loves doing. She's going to remember her brother. She understands that it's a new norm and it's part of the grieving process. She's also one that she's a giver and she's going to continue to be who she is. She's not going to allow the grief that she's experienced to stop her from being who she wants to be and the person that God has created her to be. So I encourage anyone, if you feel like you need an accountability partner, please reach out. For those who are watching that you're not grieving personally, but if you know someone who has lost a job, had a loved one in transition, has COVID, has been through a divorce, anything is causing them to grieve right now during this pandemic. If you're close with them, reach out to them, just saying hello, just saying I'm thinking about you. That means a world to a person. That means a lot. It's so much. It means the world to a person. So reach out to them. Brandi, before we finish this call, is there anything else you would like to say? I did put your information in chat. Is there anything else you would like to say?
No, I just thank you. I really do thank you for this opportunity. I actually feel better. Girl, I'm gonna have to call you from Succession, honey.
Well, because I admire your family. We'll talk about that after, but you good. I'm here for you, okay? Don't worry about cost. Don't worry about none of that. I'm here for you. And that is sincere.
No, I really do appreciate you. Huh?
I was gonna say our first session will be over food once we able to go out and
we can do it on Zoom. We can do it on Zoom. We can do it on here, honey. No, but I thank you. You through this whole entire process, you have texted me, you have inboxed me, you have sent encouraging words, and I truly, truly appreciate that. God will put good people in your life when you need it. So please know I'm not taking it for granted. I appreciate it. And I'm not playing, honey. I believe in counseling, honey. I believe in counseling. I would sign up for that. What's that EPA at work, whatever, honey. I would go to counseling.
Yes. And that's a good point. As we stated in the first part of this video with McGregor, a lot of people don't realize that your job, sometimes if you have insurance to your job, you can get free sessions through EPA. So if that is something that you need to do, by all means, please take advantage of it. As Brandi said earlier, even as far as with insurance, we expect as we get older, we'll pass away or as our parents get older, they'll pass away. Hopefully, we don't want it to be anytime soon. But if you can get insurance and prepare your family for that, by all means, please do so. But yeah, Brandi, I'm here for you. And thank you for those kind words. Your family has been givers to me and my family. And I just feel like I just want to give back to you all because you all have been so loving and supportive to us. So thank you. Well, we will. Much love. And the texting will continue. Just because we did the live, don't mean it's gonna stop. It's gonna continue.
Okay. I'm like, girl, will you be there?
So, Brandi, thank you for sharing your story. And some people think, I'm gonna say this and we're gonna go. I know some people think that even during grief that you shouldn't laugh, but laughter is good for the soul. There are some chemical hormones that are released when you laugh that are good for your mental health, that are good for your physical health, because sometimes we don't realize how much the impact of stress and grief can have on our physical body. So there will be moments when you have times that are down times, but laughing is good when you can laugh at the appropriate time. You know, it's good. That's fine because it kind of helps get your mood right, and it's sometimes needed. So thank you again, Brandi, for joining, and I will be texting you and we'll be getting together soon.
I'm gonna eat, girl. Thank you so much. I hope it blesses someone. It has blessed me. Now I got an appetite now. I feel like I can go eat. So yeah, thank
you. You are welcome. I'm glad it helped, and thank you, Brandi. All right, Facebook. You can catch the replay on this. Brandi will have this as a watch party, I believe, on her Facebook page as well. So if you're watching the replay, let us know you're watching the replay. Feel free to leave comments. Leave love. Leave much love for Brandi because she's always giving love to everybody else.
And you know what? I'm gonna do a giveaway.
Okay.
They gotta give them a word that they gotta say. What person? I'm gonna buy somebody lunch this week. I'm gonna sponsor $25 cash app. What's the word gonna be? What they gotta say? What they gotta do? It's on you.
Oh, you gonna put me on spot? Let's see.
You gotta be quick. You gotta be quick.
I'm healed.
All right. Let's see. We're gonna give the 25th. I don't know if you can keep up with the 20. Oh, I'll let you pick a name. We'll give them 24 hours tomorrow at noon. You can announce the winner of the $25 giveaway. They gotta tell them they gotta put their cash app. Tell them everybody they gotta post their cash app, and I'm gonna let you pick a person, and I'm gonna send that person $25 for lunch tomorrow because you have been so kind to allow this platform. So you put it out there, put their cash out. Lunch is on me tomorrow.
Okay, so to recap what Brandi said, put your cash out. Lunch is on her tomorrow. And the 25th person, the word is going to be pay it forward, okay? So if you can say pay it forward, you want to say pay it forward, Brandi, in the hashtag pay it forward?
No, and I'm saying we probably can't pick 25 because we won't know where it's coming from. So I'm going to just let you pick a name. You pick a person's name.
So do you want them to pay it
forward? Grieving during pandemic or something like that. It's got to be something to do with
healing. Okay. So just put the word
healing and their cash app.
Healing in the cash app. All right. So y'all heard Miss Brandi. See, I told y'all she's a giver and she's authentic. So hey, all right. Well, let's get to putting them cash apps in that hashtag healing. And by tomorrow at noon, I will announce the winner. Thank you again, Brandi. We appreciate you. Much love to you. Thank you, Facebook. We will see you later. Bye.